Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sandra P's Gen Extra. Thank you for joining. Excuse this weird angle. I cannot get my camera or anything to move. It's actually just the iPad. I'm not going to be self-conscious about it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to place the comments so that I can see them so that they're on stage and then continue. I hope everyone's doing well today. Thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. Okay, and this is going to be the Ready to Love review. And I'm on the iPad again. The layout looks completely different. I know there's been some changes in StreamYard. Thank you so much, Mama Bees. I appreciate when you do that. Thank you, because I forget to ask. And then sometimes if I'm on mute, I may not even know. So I appreciate you letting me know that you can hear me. Everyone that is in here, thank you so much. Mama Bees, the moderator, Sharon Godbook came in, and I thank you all for joining. And this is the Ready to Love Philly. And this is a pretty good episode. They're meeting a lot of different people. This time they're going to meet the friends. Last week they met the exes, which some of the ladies did not even follow the directions. They didn't bring their ex. And honestly, I didn't blame some of the ladies for not bringing an ex because I have to tell you, I don't think these men are serious. I don't think these men are serious at all. One of the men, Naeem, is the one with 5 children among 3 mothers. Another of the men, Cisco, and he's their top 2 choices for one of the young ladies that people would consider one of the most eligible bachelorettes tag. The man that's her first choice, Cisco, Francisco, he's 42. I never understand his job title. He's some type diversionary something or other. I never understand what that is, but she said he's her top choice. So we're going to start in the ladies' vault this week. So they like to switch weeks where to keep things even, they get to choose one of the men to go home. So then the ladies' vault with Tommy, the ladies strut in. And I'm guessing it's evening because everyone is dressed in like a little sparkly dress or something real cute. One of them, Rose, came in. She's giving a little shimmy. Tommy, he's hooting and hollering. I always wonder what his wife says to him about some of these not confessionals, some of these vaults that he has. Because he's funny, he's flirty, he's all of that. So they're doing that again this week. They're voting on the men at the end of this week. But what they're going to do during this week of dates, they have a week of dates. They are going to meet the best friend forever. So that's the title of the episode. So the first person, Angie, she's a bartender. She's always smiling, seems really happy. But we're going to see some other things in Angie throughout the course of the dates this week. And then at the end in the ladies' ball, some of the things she's able to share with us. Okay. And welcome in, Cece, my moderator. Welcome in. There is my sister and moderator, Church 612. Thank you. This is the Ready to Love review for the week. Okay, thank you. I'm going to stop fiddling with that, everybody. I'm getting acclimated to the new layout. Let me stop talking about it. Because when I watch the review back, I hear a lot of things that I'm talking about that are not the review. So let me just start on the review, y'all. So we're going to vote on the men at the end of the week of dates with the friends. So we have Angie. Angie's the bartender. She's giving a confessional. She's telling us that she in her date, she wants to meet Cam's friends. She wants to know all his juicy secrets. Cam and Angie have really good chemistry, but Cam let us know last week, he said that his main concern with Angie is that when he meets with her, the conversation usually starts talking about, it'll lead to a sex conversation. So he wants to make sure that it's not just the physical attraction. One of Cam's other really close, strong connections is Rose. And it's a surface level strong connection because Rose seems a little bit too good to be true. Rose seems like she wants to be the perfect A student and she wants to be picked. So that is the thing about Rose. I noticed when she met with Cam's, when Cam met her ex, one of the things Cam and also Hussein said was that whatever answer Rose thinks you want to hear, that's what she'll do. And then the last, one of the other 3 connections for Cam is Sahara. and he gets along really well with Sahara. I like their relationship. I like their. It seemed like it was a budding friendship at first, and now I do see the chemistry and physical attraction. So I'm kind of rooting for Sahara. She's one of the ones that the men were trying to send home early. They kind of, I think, had the wrong view of Sahara, treating her kind of like a roundaway girl and all this. She got her braids and stuff, and sometimes she's doing all this. But that's just Sahara. I think it's. I think she's really endearing. I find Sahara really sweet, and she was targeted by one of the people that I felt was there for TV. He was the one with the braids, kind of a Killmonger haircut. His name was Fritz. He was when he went to his house, and we think it was an Airbnb because it was one of those places that didn't look like anybody really lived there. And then he was trying to maneuver in the men's vault, and Kim was the main one standing up for her. So that's one of the first dates that they're going to have. The next one we have Kiera, which was the young lady last week with the problematic ex. He met her when she was 9 years old or so, or at least he said that he was 9 years older than her and she was younger than his younger sister, Jules. He since had to put out a statement that's not what he meant, this, that, and the other. But y'all, Jay's instinct and my instinct, everybody instinct that saw that scene, we're correct. This man, is my banner running? Oh, let me see. This man appeared to be a creep, in my opinion. He seemed like he was creep, because he was saying that he waited until she's old enough and this kind of stuff, and that they didn't really date, but he's still in her life. So I don't know what to think about Kiera for that either. So Kiera says she wants to learn more about Jay, who is my man, my man, my man. She says that as a joke, but her and Jay do have chemistry. Jay's friend Aaron comes in. He wants to see if she's wifey material for Jay. So the two of them were funny. They were just talking. Jay's the one with the braids, with the sleepy eyes, kind of Omar F's eyes. And Aaron says, "Yeah, well, I can assess her for you." No, they're joking. They've known each other for a long time. He said he's known him 15 years. Jay had his last relationship, and Jay's only in his 30s. His last relationship was 11 years. So Jay seemed like he liked to get locked down. Aaron, Kiera comes in. Jay said, "Oh, here's Bae now." Aaron said, "Hey, Bae." They hugged each other. So they seem like a fun group of friends. Not group, but just the three of them. So Kiera came in. They all hug. They sit down. And they start, just talking. Kiera's asking questions of Aaron. Aaron's answering it. And she was saying, what makes Jay suitable? What is the thing about him that makes Aaron think that he's ready for a long-term relationship? One of Aaron's answers was, well, we were just out of high school, and when he started this relationship that ended up lasting 11 years, he said the friends, the friends were saying, you too young to be locked down like this. And Jay didn't listen to what anyone said. He still wanted to be in a relationship with his significant other, his girlfriend at the time. They have 2 children together, and they have been together since high school. Now, we don't get details as to what happened between the two of them, but evidently something did. So Jay's back on the market. He's on Ready to Love, so we can talk about him. I don't like Jay, y'all. So Kiera wants to know, what does Aaron think that she has 2 children? Jay has 2 children. Aaron says, I think that's like a Black Brady Bunch. And so they all laugh about that. He wants to know, do you know what Jay's love language is? She said, I don't really know. I think it's physical touch, because he always be trying to touch on me. She's kind of joking. And Jay is like, well, what's wrong with that? She said, it's not wrong with it. I just think that your love language, I've detected. I think that it's physical touch. So they were joking around a little bit about that. He said, yeah, it is physical touch. So they kind of end the date. They get up. Jay gives her a big hug, pulls her in. So he is a touchy-feely type person, especially when he likes someone. So next we have Cisco, which is Francisco, the good-looking guy that I was saying that I'm not sure that he really needs to be on this show or Ready to Love, because we're unsure of his job title. There are not even rumors. It's been said that he's financially unstable. He's not in touch with his mother. He actually appears to be either living in some type halfway situation or unhoused even, and he's always taking the bus to the dates. So this is crazy. But Tay is a nurse anesthetist, and she considers Francisco her first choice. She's 35 years old. I get aggravated when I even think about pretty Tay. I don't know what's going on with Tay. Tay must not have big sisters. She must not. And she's so cute. She reminds me of Angela Simmons, something about her face when she's talking. Oh, I don't want to end, y'all. That end button is right there. Let's see if I see any comments. If anybody's watching that, let me know what you think about Francisco and Tay, because I just can't believe this. I can't believe it. So he brings two, he said, line brothers. He's known them since college. So that's a long time friendships, because Cisco is 42. Two of them are there. He said that these brothers, they close to me. I know them, talk to them more than I talk to my own family. Again, he had already alluded to the problems with his mother. He cried to Shanice about that before he voted, and they sent her home. Yeah, this is Church. The moderator is saying that not in touch with his mother. Halfway house situation, red flags. Absolutely. He's fine. That's what everybody keeps talking about. So it's not just fine. You have to move past the looks. So Tay is talking to the friends, and she's saying that she needs financial stability, but she wants to give Cisco a chance because she feels like some people have to be alone, some men, to improve their situation, and other men build better when they have somebody with them. She said, when I met him, he is 42. I want him to have every opportunity. I want to know his hopes and dreams. She's talking about Cisco like he's fresh out of college. Hopes and dreams, every opportunity at 42 versus something like 21 or 22. Not that you have to be fully formed at 42. You can still move and grow, but they're at such different places. I would tell Tay, yeah, this is a red flag. Okay, this man is not for you, Tay. So she said, but when I met him, I'm giving him a chance because he had everything that I wanted. And he interjects, except the car. So the friend was like, yeah, what happened with that conversation where you were, telling him that you putting him to the side because he don't have a car? I can't believe Cisco is having the same conversation about a car. You're taking the bus to dates, and she's 35, she's a nurse, and you're 42, and you don't need to be on here dating. But I just keep going back to that because the friends start kind of chiming in like, yeah, he's a man, but that hurt his feelings when you said that to him. Tay had the nerve. She let the situation turn on her, and she said, I apologize multiple times. Yeah, I'm trying to see things the way where we can be together and give him his chance. I have another connection, but it's not as strong of a connection. Now, Khalil is the other connection who's financially stable. He has a business with his family, a long-term business. I feel like he mentioned a second generation business or something like that. So, and I like her chemistry with Khalil. And I don't know why she put Khalil in second, because actually when she had the date, they had joint dates last week. Her choices, Cisco and Khalil, they were on a date with Tay, and Cisco was getting a little insecure. He said, I didn't know Tay was this close with Khalil. So he didn't know that they were that close, and evidently Khalil didn't know either, because I don't know why. Now Tay has Khalil in second place and Cisco in first place, even with all his red flags. So later in the confessionals, he says that he still wants to be her number one, and he alluded that he has another connection. I don't know who Cisco's other connection is. Shanice got sent home last week. She was the other closest connection, so I don't know who the other connection is. Next, we get Cam. He's the bald firefighter. His connection, he has 3 connections with Angie, the bartender. Rose has one son. Her son's about 16. I love Rose. Rose switches it up. She has this cute afro. It's what real puffy afro. And then sometimes she's wearing these braids. She's in her long braids this week. So we have Angie, Rose, and Sierra on a date. And he brings his friend. He has a female friend since high school, Niche. Brings her in to meet the ladies. When they come in, Sahara hugs him. Confessional, Sahara gets up there and says, I never feel like I get on one-on-one with Cam. I have all these people that are always around. She said, I don't know if he think he's Hugh Hefner or what. So Sahara's not feeling all these double and triple situations. She wants some one-on-one time with Cam. And I do like their chemistry. They are still able to meet and be close. So we have Deanna, who's the firefighter, who's the woman firefighter with the short blonde hair. But for some reason, y'all, in another confessional she puts on a blonde wig. I'll just leave it at that. I love her short blonde hair, but she tries out something different in one of her other confessionals. So Deanna and Tay are meeting with Khalil, who are both of their choices. Confessional Tay says that Khalil's number 2. The friend that Khalil brings says he has known him since high school. So I do like the fact they're bringing in a lot of long-term friends. So Deanna asks, is Khalil ready for a long-term relationship? The friend said he thinks that he is ready. They discussed that a little bit more. Next, they flip over to another date, the other date with Rose, Cam, and Sahara and Angie. And Rose is asking, why can't Cam, he's a good man, he's a firefighter, why do you think that maybe he can't hold on to a woman or doesn't want to hold on to a woman? It was kind of contradictory what the friend said to me. She said he cares too much about what people think, what women think. He doesn't really want to hurt them. If it's not working out, he will let things linger on longer than they should. So to me, that's holding on to a woman. But just the way the friend said it, maybe she meant can't hold on to a good woman or a good relationship. He's holding on to the others too long. So I couldn't really figure that out. But Rose says that, oh, that means he's a Cam person. I'm a Cam person like Cam. Again, Rose is going to mirror whatever the other person's doing. So the friend says that Cam's a leader. He likes to lead. He likes to provide. He's a protector. Angie interjects. There goes that word again. She's the bartender. So she says she's just not used to being led. This came up on her exes when came in last week. Remember, he said that they ended up breaking up because she drove herself to the hospital during labor. And he seemed like a nice young man, but I don't know whether or not she could depend on him or not. She clearly felt like she couldn't. So this came up with Angie. Niche wants to know, why do you feel like you can't be led or you don't want to be led? That's part of who Cam is. Angie's saying, well, she is not used to anybody leading her. Not that she couldn't be led, she's just not used to it. Rose interjects, she likes to take care of her man. Sahara, she didn't really weigh in on that. Sahara's waiting for the other two to get out of there. So Deanna and Khalil, they have a date with Tay and with the friend. Deanna is asking how Khalil is in relationships. So they discuss that Khalil, he's kind of hands-on. He likes his woman to keep in touch with him. He keeps in touch with her. Deanna is saying, I don't care if a man don't check in. As long as I trust him, I don't care. I don't have to hear from him. Deanna, I don't know if it's because she's a firefighter. Maybe she has long periods where she can't be available. Tay interjected, I'm the exact opposite. I need my man to check in with me. I need communication. She was even getting animated about it. I need to know what's going on. I need. That was Tay. She need her man to let her know what's going on. I think, y'all, that may be how Cisco is able to kind of rope Tay in, and he's her number one. If indeed his circumstances are what he has been alluding and telling other people, maybe unhoused, no car, that type thing. He may have all the time in the world to sit up and text, hey, big head, what you doing, this and that. He may be doing that all day, and I think Tay may be drawn in by that. So we get Rose and Angie. They leave Cam's date, and then Sahara gets Cam to herself. She says that she is the best choice for Cam, that she and Cam have a friendship, they have chemistry, and I do see it. So she's the last woman at that date. And then before she leaves, she said, Cam, choose wisely. So I think they're having conversation and dates outside of the process because they seem really close. And I do like that. I like Cam with her, especially when he defended her against Fritz. I didn't care for Fritz. I was glad the ladies saw through him early. But I'm shocked as to how, y'all, the next date, Deanna and Naeem. Naeem is the one, 5 kids, 3 mothers. But here he is on Ready to Love on OWN. Deanna's meeting with the friend. Naeem also, Naeem brings Yusef, who's his childhood friend, and also Tay. So they talk about Naeem, and they tell a funny story about when Naeem said he introduced himself. He was like, I'm Naeem at the mixer. He introduced himself to Tay. And remember Tay, well, we don't remember because there's been a long hiatus, like 4 months. So he introduced himself to Tay, and he's, I'm Naeem. I have 5 children, 3 mothers, partridge in a pear tree. And Tay got up and exited. Like, okay, yeah, nice to meet you, Naeem. She got out of there. I didn't blame her. And she was saying, well, she didn't want to judge him, but she just didn't think that would fit in with her lifestyle. Remember, she is a nurse. Deanna says, well, I don't know if that will work for me either, even though we have a connection. And I like Naeem too, y'all. I just don't think he's suitable for these ladies. So the friend trying to help him out, he's like, well, my wife and I have 7 children. Friend, that's not really helping because you said your wife and you have 7 children. And then he jokes, Naeem trying to catch up with me. Naeem there's 3 mothers involved here. And so Deanna, being the firefighter, a lot of people think she's straightforward, and she is, She says, well, I had a situation where there were two baby mothers. One of them was decent and the other one was not. And I just don't want to deal with that. So y'all, they were kind of telling Naeem, giving him the writing on the wall in at the date. And poor Yusef, the friend, was trying to he was trying to take up for him, but he really couldn't. He started questioning Deanna. How long you been a firefighter? She's been a firefighter for 11 years. And then we get a confessional from Tay. Tay, I think Tay's picker is off, y'all. I don't know. I said I don't think she has big sisters. Tay said, Naeem and I have a strong connection. Tay, how y'all have a strong connection? Sharon, I like Kim too. I just have to watch Kim sometime with that leading, protecting. That's all well and good, but some of the men that are younger, to me, you have to watch them with that because they could steer into kind of like a red pill, Kevin Samuels type area. He's just made it into a negative thing the way some of them, when they say lead, I don't know how much they mean really lead. That just means they want to be in charge of the lady. But then out of the other side of their mouth, a lot of them are wanting these young women to go 50-50 and all this kind of stuff. To me, that's not leading and protecting and providing. But I do like Kim, and I like him with Sahara. So Naeem and all them, they're having a good conversation. Oh, I have a note for why are a nurse and a firefighter entertaining this mess? I'm talking about Naeem. And then Cisco as well, but right now the date is Naeem. So Naeem starts telling them that the friend says he self-sabotages in relationships because Tay asked the question we all want to know. Naeem, you've been in different relationships. Why didn't you marry one of the children's mothers? He says, well, the second one that almost happened, but as they, things started to get stronger between them and they had the child, he ended up cheating in the second relationship, but he's done work on himself. That's exactly how he was talking now. I worked on myself. I've done the work, all this stuff. Kind of like he's been watching Iyanla. Some of these men, they may even go to therapy. I think they get these terms that they should use, and then they start turning around using them on women. Because he did the work and all this, but I don't think Naeem should be dating yet either, y'all. Maybe let the kids get a little bit older. Maybe he can meet a mother. But Deanna said, well, I don't have children, and you already have 5. Naeem lets us know, y'all, that he will be willing to have more children. Tay is in the same boat. Tay doesn't have children. This man has 3 mothers. So Hussein, y'all, this date was crazy. Hussein brings 3 friends with him. The dates are, the ladies are Rose, also Angie, and Hussein, and these 3 friends. One of the friends introduces himself. He says that he is into I don't know if he called it the polygamous lifestyle. I'm not sure how that came up. But when Angie came in, y'all, Angie immediately started blushing, looking, I know him. She ended up giving this friend a hug. So Hussein in the confessional was like, okay, now we need to know how these two know each other, because with my friends, that you never can tell. So this is the first time, y'all, in the whole process of Ready to Love, I'm starting to look at Hussein kind of funny because I don't know where he got these friends from. So Rose is in the confessional saying, Angie, how do you know this man? We all want to know the answer to that question. So she sits down and said, oh, I just know him because I was a bartender at a couple of events he threw. So I don't know what type of events, but events he threw. So the friend is asking, what kind of bedroom activities? Is Rose conservative? I didn't like that. Rose starts answering the question saying that, she's never had any complaints. She know how to take care of her man. I don't think I would have been entertaining those questions, and I think Hussein should have stepped in. That was kind of surprising to me, y'all, especially for a date with 3 men. I didn't like that. Matter of fact, everybody, I brought Angie in too quickly. When the man was asking Rose those questions, Angie wasn't even there yet, because that's how the poly thing came up. He was bringing up that Angie came in a little bit late, and when the guy stood up, she knew him. Then we get Rose in the confessional wondering, like, how did she know him? And also Hussein wondering the same thing. And Angie, she was like blushing, taking her drink. So there was something strange going on there, but that's just my opinion from what I was looking at. So Hussein says in a confessional, I'm glad we cleared that up quickly. She was just a bartender at one of the events. So I don't know. The guy who is the poly guy, he says he's a professional dominance. I don't know what that is, y'all. I don't want to look it up. Certain searches I don't even put on my phone. So I don't know what professional dominant is. Sharon is like me. I would not have answered those questions at all. No, it wasn't pertinent to what they're doing. You're not at that stage of the relationship yet. So I don't know why you're asking those questions. Professional dominant. It sounds like something from Law and Order. I didn't like the sound of it. And it makes me give Hussein kind of a side eye. Rose says she doesn't share anything. She does not share her man, and she's never had any complaints from a man. So Rose is giving the energy I need for this foolishness. And y'all, may I mention Hussein is 42 years old. He's known these men since college, so they're in their 40s as well. They ask about their style of dating. We find out that, well, no, one of the men asked Angie, what doesn't she like? What would concern her? She said that he doesn't really communicate. When they text him, they won't hear back from Hussein. Rose confirms that. And we find out that Hussein is just a person that you call him, he doesn't pick up the phone, he doesn't text, and he's been single for a while. So Hussein doesn't really like to be bothered. And in a relationship, I don't know if that works. And then also, one of the earlier episodes, he shared with Rose, he was in foster care from the age of 9 until he aged out and went to college, y'all. So Hussein may just be a loner or his own family of friends that he's assembled. And he has one child. So he's not out here like Naeem with all these different mothers. He's not relationship to relationship. He just, maybe he's not making attachments. I do like Hussein, but at 42, he's 42. That would be a concern for me. Rose ends up leaving the date. They hug, all the friends hug, they leave. Everybody liked Rose. Again, Rose is chameleon. Rose is suitable for any setting. She's one of those people. So the other friend, this is not even the friend that's the in the polygamous relationship, y'all. The other friend says, well, how's her sexual drive? He said that he used to room near Hussein and he used to hear the knocking. Y'all, this was a real conversation they were having on this date. These are some freaks, in my opinion. I couldn't believe they were talking like this, especially since Rose left. Well, then he talked crazy to Rose too. So Rose left. Angie's the only woman at the table with Hussein and then 3 men. So no, I didn't like that. Angie says that she found that question funny. That with the right man, yeah, she can get in. She got a high drive with the right man. I didn't like that. Hussein claimed that since he was single, he's gotten used to not checking in. He liked things to build, meaning like, I guess, build the anticipation of the person not contacting you. And then what? They jump out of the shadows and contact you? I don't know. I just see him as attached. And that would bother me. And I don't know that would fit for Rose or for Angie. So that was the last date. The ladies walk into the vault with Tommy, and they're all dressed up again. They all speak to each other. They're smiling. I love this season of Ladies, y'all. We have had seasons of Ready to Love where the women view it as a competition, like a really strong competition among the women, to the point where they've paired off in groups. We had one year they had the Brown Girl Club or something. They were trying to bully some of the other ladies, in my opinion. And it was just really strange, the lengths they would go to. They were trying to convince other people to vote the ones off that they didn't like, and kind of conspiring to do different things to get to the end, to stay on TV as long as they could, I thought. Some of them I didn't think were ready to love. But this group, the ladies do all seem to get along. They're at least respectful of each other. They greet each other when they come in. They smile, they hug. And I trust the information that they give about the other men. So that's important to have that camaraderie. And this is a really good season as far as that goes. Deanna starts out in the ladies' vault with Tommy. She says she likes Khalil. And then Tay backs her up. She said, yeah, she can assure that Khalil is there for the right reasons, just based on the date that they had with him and with his friend and the questions that he answered and the things they found out from the friend about Khalil. Kiera is gushing over Jay, my man. So she still likes Jay after meeting with his friend Aaron and the things that she learned about Jay. So, and then Sahara pipes up that she's interested in Jay too. We didn't know Sahara was interested in Jay. I did remember that they were kind of talking at the block party, but that was like months ago. But she said she's interested. She said, Kiera, stop looking at me. And that was about the only little funny thing that happened. She said, Kiera, stop looking at me. Kiera's like, I'm not even doing anything. And Sahara said, I see your eyes over here on me. Kiara's probably surprised with the rest of us because Sahara, we didn't know you and Jay were forming any kind of connection. So that was funny. Kim, his name came up. Sahara said that he gives women more time than they deserve in a relationship, such as when it's supposed to be over. Kim just wants to give it one more shot, but that is still endearing for Sahara because she likes Kim. We hear from Angie that the trigger for her with the being independent or letting a man lead, she can't really do that. She says, I'm the oldest of 11. She said, I think she called them super old. Angie, your parents are senior citizens? Okay. I know the feeling. I think Angie's 42. Angie says she had super old parents. She's the oldest of 11. She says she takes calls all day, daily from everybody, handling financial situations, anything that comes up, question, concern, everything all day. She's not used to help. And she started to break down and cry while she's telling that story. Y'all, I've kind of felt sorry for Angie because she's always smiling. She's a bartender. She's happy-go-lucky. That's the other thing. You make cash money. I bartended for a minute. You make cash money bartending. So I can hear the parents, or not the parents, but probably the kids. Not kids. These are all grown people. Angie's like 41, y'all. So scheming on her tips, like, oh, Angie, this happened, that happened, that. So she was crying, and the ladies start to comfort her. And I like that about this group of ladies, because on some seasons, Angie, they would have just been looking at you. So Tommy asked, well, does Cam know that about your situation? She said, no, he doesn't know. Tommy said, well, you got some homework to do. You got to talk to him and let him know what he's dealing with. So Hussein gets discussed by Rose and Angie. They like him, but he just will not return calls. He doesn't return even texts, and that they feel like his words don't really match the actions. So I'm surprised that they're kind of seeing through Hussein. Tommy asked about Naeem and all those kids. The group starts laughing, y'all. So Tommy joked that about, he says, well, yeah, he said they got a head start. And then they were mentioning that, and he brought the friend. The friend has 7 kids. Tommy said they're trying to outdo each other. So nephew Tommy, of course, he was joking. He asked Deanna, can you see yourself? You don't have to. Can you see yourself with all those kids? She said, no, she can't. He said, well, the kids ain't going nowhere. And she said, just, that might not be for me. So y'all, we know Naeem is on the chopping block. Again, why you cast this man? So they have to choose which men to take for a final date. The final dates are Hussein and Naeem. And I'm not surprised about it. I feel like it should have been Cisco because he never should have been cast. And also Naeem. You could throw Hussein in there too if he's not calling like that. So Hussein meets with Angie. They hug. I'm glad to see you. We always have a good time together. Now, Hussein knows that the ladies' vault met. So this date really is not a good sign, but he seems oblivious. So Tay is meeting with Naeem. They hug. He compliments her nails. I didn't get a good look at them, but Tay's fly. So I'm sure that she has something fancy going on. Hussein is over here asking Angie, how's things going? They're just making small talk. She says it's hard when there's a lot of overlapping connections, but the ladies talked. The communication is a concern with all the ladies. Hussein is saying, oh, he's sorry to hear that, but he can understand it. They said that you just don't call, you don't return texts, none of that. Hussein gets in a confessional and tells the viewer that he hates he hates texting and he barely calls. So Hussein, why don't you just tell people that, like, if you have an emergency, you can call me, or even just to check in, you can call me, but I'm probably not going to answer a text. So I don't know why Hussein didn't tell us that. She said, but, the ladies also feel that you're still ready to love. So now we know the person that is not ready to love, who I told y'all, Naeem. It shouldn't have been cast. You're not ready to love, and neither is Cisco. But Tay is so sweet. She's saying, Naeem, you're an amazing father. And we could tell that. She's giving them the Tay pep talk. You're an amazing father. The ladies feel like you have more children than we prefer. So I thought that was a really nice way for Tay to put it. And then she says that we also feel that you're not ready to love. So y'all, that was the end of the episode. It was a good episode. Naeem was really friendly. He was nice. He stood up. He hugged. He said he felt like he made some genuine connections. And Naeem, y'all, this personality in Naeem, to me, he was still trying to shoot his shot. He was telling Tay, and you can still call me. Tay, do not call. I hope she's not calling this man. Please don't call this man. I have in my notes, girl, you better not. But I can see why women get taken in by Naeem. Naeem, you and I will be good friends. Well, I don't have to worry about you. I'm too old to have kids, but Naeem and these 5 children, y'all, and he's looking for somebody to help him take care of them children. Talking about he could have one more or two with somebody. So, and then Deanna, he probably told Deanna to call him too. So Naeem's not ready to love. Hussein still gets more chances to love, but he just have to respond to a text and phone call. So we get a preview of the cast trip. It's been a pretty tame season so far, y'all. But Ready to Love, they show off on these cast trips. So they just go away to kind of like a not too far place, driving distance. So what they're in Philly. So we don't know where they're going yet, but they'll be somewhere within driving distance. So it'll be the East Coast. Cam is nervous that he has 3 connections. They're going to be in the same house. So in the preview, they are discussing toxic behavior. Cam doesn't think it's toxic until somebody's window get broken out. So I can see what Sahara meant by, and also Niche, the friend, that Cam keep women around too long because windows busted out. So the men start asking, well, who has that? It happened with anybody? Y'all, we find out from Sweet Angie, the smiling bartender, that, yeah, that's happened before. She's busted out a window. So I hope we get to hear more about that. We see a scene where Jay is massaging Sahara's neck. So it looked like Sahara shot her shot because I said, I didn't know they had a connection. That's in the preview. He does it in front of Kiera. And y'all, we see Kiera get really upset. She's yelling at Jay. They're in the room together. You know, some of the couples will like pair off together. One season, Carmen or one of them went in there and threw her bag on the bed. She kind of like stakes her claim. No, that was the couple that's married now, Joy and Clifton. Joy came in that house. She found out what room Clifton had. She threw her little bag right on his bed. So yeah, they get down on these vacations, y'all, and it is funny. So we see Kiera fussing at Jay like he's already her man, and he's supposed to be dating everybody. But this was a good episode, everybody. Thank you for your patience with this new angle, new everything. I'm back in my old surroundings, so I have to figure out on this iPad everything that's going on. Yeah, I think they did. Sharon says they made the right decision. They do. I'm like, stop playing around. I know they need to keep the numbers a certain level, but Naeem definitely should go. Cisco could go as well. And Hussein, if he doesn't step it up, he can leave also. But again, Ready to Love, the ladies are so much more to me ready to love and suitable for dating than these men are. Because where you get 5 mothers and 3 children and put him before a nurse and a firefighter with no children and tell them that he's supposedly ready to love. And then they got to finally rule him out. And y'all, he was right under the radar because, again, I like Naeem. And I'm telling Tay, don't let this man, don't call him, don't be in touch. You got enough friends. But everyone, thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Y'all, I have not watched King's Court yet, so that's going to be my next review. Probably it's going to be 9:30 a.m. Eastern. So you'll see that I'll put it in, and it's going to be a live review. So it won't be pre-recorded for King's Court. I haven't watched it yet. So I like the engagement. I have a few subscribers that do watch King's Court. So if you're able to join me tomorrow morning, that's what I will be reviewing, discussing, recapping, giving my opinion. Everybody, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the YouTube streets. Thank you. Bye.